wonderful students. It's my pleasure to welcome you to answer to your assignments in AEC 809. Joshua, the first question I gave you, you were given dates and temperature data for 30 days in January 2024. So the first thing you need to do is you create the data frame of the temperature that you were given. Just copy it, add data frame here, then make sure you close the brackets. So I call it temp data. So run. So you may wish to look at the data you have just created. So this is the data set you have created here. So it's temperature data. The first question is convert the data set into a time series object using zoo. To do that, you have to define the starting date, that's January 1, 2024. You define the end date as January 30. Then you load the necessary packages. So let's run the so let's go up here. So let's run the starting date and end dates that we have just generated. Load necessary packages. We need ID quants. We need ggplot2. We have ggpubr. We need tidyverse for manipulating the data. Then we have forecasts package. Those are the packages needed. So load the packages using library function. So I run it. So the first question is to convert it to zoo data. So that is zoo data. You have zoo. This is your data. Then you define the sequence from the starting date to the end date. By is equal to 1 to show that it's daily data. So run. So then run the data you have generated as zoo data. So this is answer to the first question. So you can see your data now runs from 2024 0101. Then you have the temperature for different days in the month of January 2024. The second question is plot the daily temperature using a line graph. Just autoplot, that's very, very fast. So autoplot zoo data. It's either you use autoplot.zoo, which is the zoo form or format, or you use autoplot from a forecast package. You will get the same answer. So since we want to plot, let's bring this here. So you have autoplot zoo data. Then you define the x-axis. Since it's 30 days, I break it to 5 days. I define the date, the month, and the year. So let's plot this straight away. So this is the data point that you're asked to plot. So good. Here you have the temperature as the y-axis, but here you still have the index. So in that wise, the next question asks us, said, add title and axis label. Add title and axis label. So you copy what you've done, which is the auto plot. Then you say plus, labs means labels. So you label the x-axis as day. Let's bring this down so that you can see clearly. You label the y-axis as temperature. In labeling, please take notes. Always start the word with capital. So I have day with capital D, then I have T with capital temperature. Then I remove this color by adding a team underscore light, or you say team underscore minimum, whichever one you prefer. So let's run this. So clearly the axes are well defined. and you already know how to export it, just click export, copy to clipboard, then copy plot. Then you paste what you have copied in your um, Word documents. So, and that takes us to question 2. So for question 2, no, sorry, there is still one question left. He said, highlight the maximum temperature point. Some of you were just writing the maximum temperature point. That is not the what I asked you to do. I say highlight it. That is, you have to highlight it in the graph, not just saying the maximum point is 37. So you have to define the maximum point. Since you use zoo to define it, so you say max p, or you say max underscore point, you can call it any name of your choice. So we have wish.max, that is the function, call data from your zoo data. So you run this. So that defines the maximum point. Then you auto plot as usual, just copy. Then you will now add the maximum point as g on point. This is x index for the maximum point. That is zoo data. It's not it is zoo data. Then this also will be zoo data, but we call it zoo data. Okay, so this is showing us, I say plus, let me bring this down. G on point, I define the index for the maximum point. Then I define the y also for the maximum point. Then I define the color. Then the size. Then the theme. Then the label. So that's very clear. So we can look at it again so that you are familiar with what I've done. This is your auto plot. Just add the maximum points. It's okay. X-axis for the maximum point. You have maximum points. We said that is for the Y. Then the color, I define the color as red. Let's change this to blue. So I say size is equal to 4 so that I have a very big size. Then define the theme. Then the labels. You already know this before. So let's do that. So run. So you can see the maximum point here in blue color. So that is what I asked you to do. So that takes us to the second question. The second question, we're giving sales data for 12 months. So again, like the other one, you have to maybe define it in data frame format. So I say sales data.frame. This is just the sales data you are giving. So let's run this. So, and again, you may want to show the sales data here, so you can see it's very clear. So the first question is convert it to zoo objects. So again, you define the starting date, the end date. The starting date is January 2023. So the end date definitely will be December 2023. Then again, you convert to zoo. It's very clear. But in this case, previously we say bar is equal to 1. or you say bar is equal to day in quotes. But in this case, say bar is equal to months. That is just the basic difference. So let's run this. So then this is the answer to that question. Oh, sorry. Let me run it for, yeah. Okay, so this is it. So here you will have it for the 12 months in 2023. So you have January 2023 up to December 2023. So that's your data. Then you are asked to plot line graph. So you plot the line graph separately. You plot the bar chart separately. So to plot the line graph, just like what we had the other time, so you autoplot the zoo sales, then you define, you adjust your x-axis. Since I have 12 months, I need a 2-month break. So I break the data by 2 months, then add the labels, then add the T. So this is it here, so run. So you can see it very clearly. So you can have sales in Naira by month. So this is what you ask. Many of you got this, but you did not define the X and the Y-axis properly. And some of you did not remove the color so that we can see clearly your line plot. So then you are asked to add the trend. To add the trend, just say plus GM smooth. Formula, this is linear plot, linear model as the method. Then, since you will have to interpret, you will add the start underscore reg line equation. So this is adding the regression line equation to it. So then you add the labels for the X and Y axis, then the T minima. So if you have done this, let's run this. It's super clear. So you can see clearly now. So the data runs from January 1, 2023. So since it's 2 months, so February, April, June, August, October, and I think the last should be December over there. So that's clear. What you have here is the standard error. If you don't want to include the standard error, you can remove it from the graph. So if you want to remove it from the graph, where you have geom smooth, you can just say comma here. So you see SE, that is the standard error is equal to false. So that will remove it. So if you have done that, so let's see how it looks like. All right, so see, so this is clear. And by way of interpretation, this is clearly showing, the gradient is 0.12. So this is showing that the sales in Naira is increasing at the rate of 0.12. That is, convert that to percentage, that's at the rate of something like 12%. And that's every month increase. Yeah. Then if you want to do the same by bar charts, the first thing you do is to convert the data back to data frame. So, and that is what you want to do, that you use the function fortify.zoo. So let's run this. So you can get your bar data. So you have seen it now. So you can see the index and the sales for different months are already in data frame. So
but I want I want it formatted in months. So say bar data, you create the month column, you format the index. This is, or you understand that percent deal is represent months. So this is converting, this is creating a month format in your data set. Then you redefine the data in terms of factor. So level is month abbreviation. So run this. So if you have done this, then you can now plot your GGBar plots. So to get the GGBar plots, it's very simple. This is your data. Month is our X, Y is our sales, then the field. If you want different colors, let's say I don't need different colors. Let me choose a color of my choice. Let me use red. That is what you want. So then this, you run this. You have seen it now, super clear. But if you want different colors for different months, although why you want that, I don't know. So if that is what you want, it's very clear. So you can just change this to zoo underscore sales. And that will give you different colors for different months. Yeah. So the last question, which is question 3, that's the simplest. We're giving year data. So that's output. So this is the data set we're giving. So in data frame. So say convert to time series. To convert to time series is TS. So this is the output data. The starting point is 2010. The end is 2022 based on what we're given. So frequency is 1 because it's yearly. So that's what we call data TS. Then after you have done that, you want to plot this. This is the simplest of all the questions. So you want to plot, that is to plot, add the T, then again add the line, the trend, then define the X and the Y axis. So super clear. Again, you can export it. So that's it. So these are the answers to the questions. You see, when you are given assignment, it is not exam. I mean, it is not an exam condition. And I think you were given more than 24 hours. I think it should be roughly 48 or more hours. So you're supposed to have done a better job since you have to do it together because the essence is for you to understand it. So thank you. I still advise, please subscribe to my YouTube. Then go over this assignment over and over again so that you can do it. So that when you are given similar assignments, who knows, maybe I can still give you similar assignments, you'll be able to perform better. But by the way, all of you pass, but I expect a better performance. Thank you till we meet again, either online or physically. God bless. Stay blessed. Yeah.